That snaps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We
you want one
can't,
quick question?
we can't ask Rashad questions.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
Rashad.
Let's get into it for another reason why you all are here today. This is going to be a short stream, about 20, 30 minutes. It is a bit late. So, the big news of the day, it finally happened. Ironically, the reason why I wanted to bring Britt on is because I just recorded for her podcast. We recorded for 2 hours yesterday. She was editing that footage tonight as we spoke, and we brought up this particular kind of rumored trade and stuff like that, and it happened. So I was like, "You want to hop on live on mine?" And she said, "Yeah, for sure, let's do it." And so yeah, that it just happened to happen, very next day. But it's official now. Kelsey Plum is going to Los Angeles. Jewell Loyd is going to Vegas, so Jewell Loyd gets her wish. BG also wants to go to Vegas, so that will be interesting to see if they add BG as well. With this situation, a lot of people were asking me about Kelsey Plum. Why would Kelsey Plum get traded? Was Vegas tired of her? Was she not performing up to the expectation? And the truth of the matter is, Kelsey Plum was essentially like a restricted free agent this offseason, and so since she was at that kind of crossroads of like, is Vegas going to bring her back or not? Are they going to pay her the money that she deserves or not? At the same time, Jewell Loyd is up in Seattle. She demands a trade, and she says, I want to go to Vegas. So now Vegas is looking at it like, we have a superstar, one of the best players in the league, want to come play for us, and we have one of our better players, another star, that is kind of like at a crossroads of if we're going to bring her back or not. So what the Aces essentially did was, okay, we got two players at the same position. One is like one of the best, and one is one of the better players in the league. Who do we want? Do we want the chemistry? Do we want to continue with the continuation of the dynasty with the same core 4, core 5 that we've been rolling with for the past few years, ever since we moved to Vegas, with all the number 1 draft picks, because you had the draft picks of Jackie Young, number 1 draft pick, Asia, number 1 draft pick, and Kelsey Plum, number 1 draft pick. And then they used to have Candace Parker at number 1 draft pick too. So do you want to keep that core 3, core 4 of the number 1 draft picks plus Chelsea Gray all together with that, the good chemistry they have? They tell jokes, they do this, they have fun and all of that, and they win championships, or they at least go to the finals at the bare minimum. Do you want to keep that going? Or do you want to try to just continue to spice it up and go for the big name? And it seemed like they went for the big name here. They went for the checker, Jewell Loyd. In terms of actual fit on the team, I think it'll be very interesting because Jewell Loyd shoots the ball a lot. And there were some frustrations there. There was a reason why she requested a trade out of Seattle. And, one of the things reportedly or rumored was Jewell Loyd was averaging 19 points a game. She needed to average 20 points a game to get some money from Nike or to get a bonus or something like that, right, in her contract. And apparently Noel Quinn was kind of limiting her minutes or calling less plays for her the closer she got to averaging 20 points a game. So if that's the same Jewell Loyd we're talking about that is fixated on her points and fixated on how many shots she gets, I don't know how it's going to look next to a Jackie Young and a Chelsea Gray and an A'ja Wilson. A'ja is going to always want to get her. She's always going to want to eat. She's A'ja Wilson. She has that standard to hold as the best player in the world. Fee's coming. Fee is really hot right now. You see what she did in the finals. You see what she's doing right now in Unrivaled. A lot of people are trying to push Fee in that greatest player of all time discussion with when it used to just be a 2-man race of Stewie and A'ja. Now, Fee is creeping in, and it looks like Fee is kind of passing Stewie post-surgery and everything like that. And now it's looking like Fee and A'ja Wilson. And Fee, from the outside looking in, might look like she's closing in on A'ja Wilson for that best player in the world title. This is important because A'ja Wilson, if she wants to remain considered the best player in the world, she's going to want her touches. She's going to want the ball. She's going to want to shoot. She's going to want to, make sure the offense and the team of the Aces, Las Vegas, is still surrounding her. So now if that's the case, okay, dang, where does Jewell Loyd come in if Jewell Loyd wants to get up her 20 shots to get 20 points a game? I don't know. We were going to have to see. Hold on. Let me pull up Jewell Loyd's stats to see how many shots that she was averaging last year. and everything like that. Hold on. Shout out to Basketball Reference. We're going to Basketball Reference for this one. All right, cool. Bet. All right, here's the seasonal stats. Okay, so field goal attempts. Where we at field goal attempts? She averaged 17 field goals pretty much last season. She had 20. That's a dip from the season before. She was going up every single season. 2023, I believe that's the first season without Stewie. She took career high 20 shots a game. She wanted to still take 20 shots a game. And she didn't get that last year because Noelle Quinn, reportedly, the rumors were, calling less plays for her, giving her less minutes. So she wouldn't get her 20-point average, 19.7 here, for the little bonus from Nike and stuff like that. So when we come down to Vegas, are you going to be able to get your 20 shots a game? I don't know. We're going to have to look at Vegas. Hold on. Give me a second. Let's look at Vegas 2024 Basketball Reference. We're going to look at Vegas, see what the shot attempts that they had and everything like that. Okay, we're going to Vegas now. All right, hold on. Give me a second. Let me scroll down. Okay, here we go. The most shots that anybody took on Vegas was, like I said, A'ja Wilson, who many people want to consider the best player in the world, things of that sort, right? So if A'ja Wilson is only taking, she's not even taking 20 shots a game. So if Asia's not taking 20 shots a game, you took 17 shots a game and you was mad at the 17 shots and you wanted more to get your 20 points a game. I see a potential issue here. The next highest player right here is Kelsey Plum at 14 shots a game. That's 2 less shots than what you was mad about in Seattle. I don't know, man. It's just some of the things we're looking at. And you can say, oh, I don't care about the stats. I don't care about the shots. I care about the team. Well, if that was the case, why did you demand a trade from Seattle? What's going on here, right? I don't know about this, guys. See, but the thing is, sometimes in life, despite, kind of butting heads and not getting along and not having the exact chemistry that you need to get things done, you can still get it done because you're just so good. And I feel like that's why this thing can still work, because JL Loyd is just that good. Especially if you bring in BG. If you bring in BG, I think it's a write-off. But how many times have we seen that with the Phoenix and Seattle last year, where you saw it on paper and stuff like that, and it made sense, and it just didn't work out? Like the Phoenix here with Tina Charles, where they had Diamond Shields, Tina Charles, Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner, Sophia Cunningham. You know what I'm saying? Like they had like 4 or 5 all-stars. They had a whole lineup of all-stars. Skylar Diggins-Smith. They had a whole lineup of all-stars there, and it just none of it worked. And how many times have we seen that in the W? And the reason why it usually doesn't work is because it's just not a good fit. So when I see something like this, where your second highest player getting shots last year was 14 shots a game, and you thought 16 shots a game weren't enough, it's little things like this. You might think it's little, but the little things add up. And so I'm just looking at that. I don't know. I feel like Kelsey Plum kind of really learned her role well within Vegas. They all did. Jackie Young did. Kelsey Plum did. Chelsea Gray did. They like mastered their roles of like, okay, this is Asia's team. We're here to be supportive. But when it's time for us to step up and hit a big shot, or when it's time for us to create some offense and get things going and get the ball rolling, we can do that. I don't know when you have kind of an alpha in Jewell Loyd there and things of that sort, if she's going to be able to pull that off. I believe we got Brittany back in the building, so I'm about to add Brittany to the stage, Sports Minded Show. Brittany, what's good, man? What's good?
What's good, Rashad? I had a technical difficulties, but I'm back.
Okay, bet. Britt is back. You left me hanging for a second. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to have to.
My bad, but I know you can hold it down. So you went on your rant about the Flage and DJ situation. Did you talk about the Bills and the Chiefs at all? Or no?
No, I did say shout out to everybody watching Championship Sunday. and
Okay.
everything like that. And I said, I hope you enjoyed the games and all that. So I gave a little shout out to them and stuff like that. But Britt, welcome back to the channel. First things first. And second thing second, I'm just looking at I went right into it with the shots, right? The shot attempts. Because Jewell Loyd, one of the reasons why she reportedly requested this trade was because from Seattle, was because she was close to averaging her 20 points a game last season in the super team with Skylar Diggins-Smith and Eka Wumake. According to rumors and reported rumors, everything like that, Jewell Loyd felt like Noelle Quinn was drawing up plays and limiting Jewell Loyd's minutes so she wouldn't get her 20 points a game. Jewell Loyd wanted the 20 points a game because it was like the team, the Seattle or Nike or someone like that was going to give her a huge bonus if she averaged 20 points a game in the season. So with that, if that's true, she averaged 16, just under 17 shots a game last year. So that's what I'm looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go over to Vegas. Of course, the person with the most shot attempts is A'ja Wilson. It's A'ja Wilson's team. But the second most shot attempts was Kelsey Plum at 14 shots a game. 2 less, nearly 3 less shots than what you are already complaining about to get traded. And the thing with A'ja that you also have to keep in mind is also something else I said. Fee is coming, right? Fee was hot and she had an amazing finals run. She's had an amazing start to Unrivaled, right? A lot of people are starting to push Fee into that greatest player on earth conversations. So now it used to just be a 2-man race between A'ja and Stewie. Now it's looking like Stewie's kind of dropping off a little bit post surgeries, everything like that at this stage of her career. And it looks like Fee is kind of moving in from a big 3 into the top 2 with her and A'ja. So A'ja, obviously, if we hear, A'ja obviously hears it. So I'm saying A'ja is going to be locked in. She's going to want to get more touches. She's going to keep the offense and the team surrounding me. So ain't nobody saying Fee is the greatest player in the world. I'm still the greatest player. It's still my league. With that being said, I see this being an issue. Because if A'ja wants more shots than 19 shots a game, and Jewell Loyd was already complaining about 16 shots a game, and the most you're probably going to get is about 14, 15 shots, this ain't going to work. So with that being said, I'm going to let you speak.
Okay, so that's a lot. But I will agree that this past season, it was unanimous with A'ja being the MVP, but the second player would have been Fee over Stewie. She had a pretty good season, and she was so good defensively, you couldn't help but to give her Defensive Player of the Year. It could have went to A'ja too. A'ja could have got Defensive Player of the Year as well. But it's like, okay, A'ja was the unanimous MVP. Fee did her thing on the defensive end, Defensive Player of the Year with that. Now, going to Jewell, yeah. And I don't like the trade because I've said before that she's too ball dominant. It is A'ja's team, and it worked with A'ja, KP, Jackie, and Chelsea Gray. They're all stars, but they were able to play with each other. So somebody like Jewell, if you're getting 16 shots a game, you're just going to have to be more efficient. You know what I mean? Like, you need to make 10 to 12 out of those 16. Now, if the coach limited her minutes and she needed to hit those points to get a bonus, I can see that being an issue. I can see, that whole situation popped up where it was a toxic environment, so she wanted to leave. I get that. But to me, it shouldn't be about points. It should be about what am I doing to help my team win? Because they had Nneka, they had Jewell, they had Skylar. I expected way more from them than what they gave in the playoffs. Now, granted, they played against the Aces, but still. So if, you have those stats where if this player scores 20 points or more, then the team wins more, then I get it. You want to make sure she's getting the 20 points. But it's like, okay, if you get 16 this game, 6 assists, and your team still wins, that's a plus. So I don't know if she's going to be able to get 20 plus shots a game because you still have Jackie, who has come into her own this past season. She was right there in the stat line behind Asia. Chelsea Gray is going to be back to her full self. You know, she was coming off an injury, but now playing in Unrivaled, and then she'll get to enter training camp and really be ready to go. She's going to be back trying to get her buckets. So Jewell going to have to fall in line, and I don't know how it's going to work out.
100%. I think it comes down to, is that rumor true? And we're really going to see this upcoming season if that rumor is true or not. Because if the rumor is true, like it's just not going to work. It's just not going to, because it's like, you can say, like I say, in the press conference and all the media availabilities, oh, it's about the team. It's about the team. It's, you know, I got my individual accolades. But if that rumor is true, that just last year you were frustrated with Seattle and Noel Quinn because you weren't getting your 20 points a game, they don't move like that in Vegas. In Vegas, they make jokes, TikToks, and prank each other.
Mm-hmm.
All they care about is winning in Vegas. Even Asia not even no person that want all the big numbers. I know I just said that, but Asia really don't even care about the big numbers at the end of the day. She did this, which was a historical number of, you know, just points and rebounds and historic season, and with averaging a double-double and getting crazy blocks and nose bleeding, eye bleeding, get it stitched up in the middle, and she's still doing what she did. She only did that because she had to. They were shorthanded last season with Chelsea being hurt, banged out, in and out of the lineup, things of that sort. You look at the game started. Only person that also started 38 games was KP. Jackie Young, 37 games. She missed one more game. Chelsea missed 10 more games than Jackie did. AC, she the only one that played all the games. AC's the only one that played all the games. So, you know, every other night, Asia's kind of carrying the load for somebody else who's out of the lineup or coming back from an injury and everything like that, or just having an off night. Because a lot of times, a lot of her teammates had off nights. That's the only reason why she had that stat line, where I feel like as Jewell and a player like Enrique, I feel like them two jokers, they play for the points. They play for the buckets. They play for the, oh, Enrique had 30 last night. Jewell Loyd had 40 last. Like, I feel like they play for that. So, I don't know. Because if this was, I think, okay, I'm going to give a hot take. I feel like Jewell Loyd sometimes can just be Enrique with a better temper.
Well, I will say they're two scores. They have scores mentalities, which is why they've been doing well in Unrivaled, because that's a league that's set up for one-on-one style players, people who can create their own shots, knock down the three. Jewell has been looking good. Enrique has been looking good. But I question where this trade came from. Did KP ask to be traded, or if this came from the front office? Because we talked about this before, where I don't feel like the guard play, it was inconsistency. But again, like you said, they were shorthanded. All of those players, Jackie, KP, they played a lot of minutes. And KP, I said she deserves some grace, because one of the reasons she pulled back from Unrivaled is because she said she wanted to heal from her divorce. And she had to play all season going through that. So this was a rough year that, yeah, they wanted to try to three-peat, but it was a lot of factors. KP going through the divorce, Chelsea coming back from injury, and them being short-handed. I feel like they should have tried to get a post player, because Asia needed some help in the post. You know, she needed, when she goes out of the game, somebody to be solid. Stokes, she'll block some shots, but she wasn't going to give you 10 and 10 off the bench. Gustafson, she would knock down some threes, but it's like it was a letdown when Asia went out of the game. So I feel like run it back with that same team, keep their core together, and give everybody time to just get everything back right. Because you're still going to have Tiffany Hayes there. And even with the team they had, Becky Hammond, to me, she didn't utilize the bench enough. You had Kate Martin, who played earlier in the season, was a promising rookie, and she started to play less as the season progressed. you didn't play Sydney Colson. When she got in the game, she was solid on defense and she could score. So to me, I don't feel like they felt like maybe this 1 year they lost, they feel like it's broken. No, we're going to run it back with this same team. If it doesn't work out this year, then we can make some adjustments. But again, that trading KP, I don't know if it was something she wanted or if it was the front offices. If it's the front offices, I disagree with it.
And another thing that you have to point out, Britt, about that is on top of being hobbled and everything like that, the whole team went to the Olympics.
Right.
So they didn't get no break.
Right.
No break, and they was already hobbling going into the break. So it's like, I think they did as best as they could. And next season is not an Olympic year. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think things were looking up. To me, in my opinion, without, like you said, without knowing the full story, because we don't know what KP, because I did find this interesting. I have to pull this up. I did find this interesting that this was an entire tweet and stuff like that. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Give me a second here. All right. Pull this up. This was like a nice little nugget for me that I was like, Our good old friend, De'Erica Hamby. She just posted this. And it seemed like when the trade first happened for De'Erica to LA, and she told her story and everything about what happened. It seemed like there was a little friction between her. It kind of seeped down from the top of the organization all the way down to her old teammates, to where it wasn't all lovey-dovey hugs when she came back and played them. Of course, sometimes it was kind of that when they played each other. But the first year, the first meeting, it was kind of like when you dap up hands before the tip-off, it really won't much of that. It really won't much eye contact and long hugs. I thought it was interesting that De'Erica posted this of her, hugging KP and saying, pretty much saying, this my twin, this my dog.
Was this before the trade? You said this was before the trade happened?
She posted this tonight after the trade was announced. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
so maybe
like what you said.
Maybe something KP could have wanted because De'Erica is in LA.
But it could also be something like say KP wanted to trade maybe because okay. This is conspiracy. Conspiracy has her own viewers. So I ain't speak to nobody in the organization. I ain't speak to De'Erica. I ain't speak to nobody. It's just me talking, Rashad. What if KP was like, she felt like the organization didn't fully support her in her emotional kind of like healing process that she needed for her divorce. And she might have viewed it as the organization was kind of insensitive to how they were kind of handling her bouncing back from her public breakup and divorce from an NFL player. And then she's looking at it like De'Erica is going on a whole rant about how insensitive they were to me, despite everything I did for this franchise dating all the way back to when we was in San Antonio. So KP probably looking at it the same way. I was drafted by San Antonio. Y'all brought me over here to Vegas. I was one of the key pieces to building Vegas to what it is today, a championship contender, perennial championship contender. The second I go through something in my personal life and I don't have the same peak season consistently that I have had in the past 3-4 seasons, now you kind of dumping me off to the side. That's just I don't know. I don't know if I just made that up, but like, do you think that could be a potential possibility there?
I mean, it could be. We've seen where organizations haven't really supported players when they're kind of in a slump or going through something, like Klay Thompson with the Warriors. Even Dame Lillard last season with the Bucks, when he was going through his divorce and he was saying how he wasn't having fun being away from his kids and he struggled. I mean, he's doing better this season. But yeah, it could be that. And if that's the case, then I don't blame her for wanting to go somewhere else where she feels like she would be supported. And I would hope that's not the case. So, but now that she's in LA, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that number 2 pick, because we talked about they don't need post players. You have Hamby, Brink will be back.
No, they don't have the number 2 pick. That's the thing.
They don't? Oh, that's a part of the trade.
They gave it up to Seattle. So somebody was I was talking to Chris Williamson, shout out Chris. He said he didn't get this from LA's perspective of giving up the number 2 pick. And I said, to me, in my opinion, this looked like LA pretty much saying we have more trust in KP and her value than we would Olivia Miles.
Oh, so they knew they were going to pick Olivia Miles at number 2.
No. I was just saying, like in theory. I was just saying in theory. Like if you give up the number 2 pick for Kelsey Plum, you're pretty much saying, I trust Kelsey Plum's value and what she's going to bring to the organization as opposed to bringing in Olivia Miles.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You go with somebody who's a proven winner and you build around her. So you have KP, you have Hamby, you have Rakia Jackson, Brink. And yeah, I mean, now LA really can do some things. So we'll see. I like that situation better than Jewell Loyd going to the Aces. I feel like KP and the Sparks will have a nice rhythm going. More so, it's gonna take some time. I may be wrong, but Jewell, she's like Kobe. So it's just like putting Kobe on a team that already has other stars on it. Everything has to be built around Kobe. And I'm just interested to see how that's gonna work.
It's on like putting Kobe on the Spurs with Tim Duncan in them.
I wouldn't. Well, I see your point, but I wouldn't compare the Aces to the Spurs. The Lincoln Spurs. They got a little bit more finesse and a little flair.
Yeah. It's a little more swaggy. It's a little more. They shoot threes.
A little bit more. So it has to be a perfect situation, like when KD went to the Warriors.
Yeah,
it worked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to see.
Because KD, he already had success playing next to Russ and, even a young Harden, if you want to count that. So it's kind of like we saw KD take a back seat when he needed to take a back seat. I ain't never seen Jewell, not even with Stewie. I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't even remember her taking a back seat with Stewie. It seemed like Loyd was always Loyd. Stewie, if Stewie gets what she gets, she might get it. If not, it's Jewell Loyd time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
And the system was set up. It was already a system in place where KD could just come. Ain't no pressure on me. I can just come in and shoot, catch, shoot. You know what I mean? Score. If I don't have to score, I know Steph gonna do his thing. I know Clay gonna do his thing. You know what I mean? So I can just come in and just ain't no pressure. He was expected to do things in OKC. You know what I mean? Like you're a part of the 1-2 punch and then Harden too. But over here, I could just come in, do me, and he did well, and they won.
Well, like we're saying, I think we think that KD was cooler with just playing a role, as opposed to Jewell Loyd. Her role is score, kill. So it's like that dynamic with the team that already has something going. But like you said, like the more you think about it with LA, I love this for LA because KP is gonna even be bigger. Like we just talked about this yesterday on the episode that we recorded for Sports Minded, about if KP, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young are on any other team, they're like, I know they're already all-stars, but they are like all-star. We're looking at them the same way we look at Kyle Copper, some of the other all-stars around the league, Kelsey Mitchell. We're looking at them is the same way we look at those players. So it's like, I think KP's going to thrive in this role. She's going to have a little more space and a little more kind of just room to run the team, because Cameron Brink and Rakia, those are two like little deer. They're baby deer right now. So, I think that's going to be very interesting to watch in LA. And they have the number 9 pick. I know you were talking about a couple players that you thought were going to be available around 10. Do you see the number 9 pick adding any other value to them? And who are some of the players you think they could get at 9?
To the Sparks?
Uh-huh.
And some of the things we didn't discuss in the episode, some players we missed out on. I don't know if a Tanaya Latson is gonna leave. If she's
did you see that shot tonight?
Yeah, the game winner against UNC. Yes. So she's a junior. I don't know if she's gonna be eligible. There are some other players like a Sarah Ashley Barker from Alabama. You look at Ole Miss's Madison Scott. Mid-range game is deadly. So I'm thinking about they could use some bigger guards. They have a lot of what else did they give up? The Sparks. What else did they give up anything else? Any other players?
Hold on. Let me see.
In the trade?
The Sparks gave up. They just gave up the number 2 pick and Lee. So Lee, she's very popular over there with the Sparks. All her press conferences get a lot of views and stuff like that. And she had a couple nice, moments on the court as well. I believe she's a PG, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think that's all they gave up. Just that pick and Lee.
So that means they still have Ari McDonald.
Yeah.
Saya Cook, which are smaller guards. So I wonder if the Sparks want to go for Rakia is a 3 stretch 4. You have KP. Do you go for a shooter? Do you go for a Sonia Citron, Tahina Powell, a Madison Scott, a nice player who can create her shot mid-range?
I'm looking, now that you say that, I'm looking on the wing. So I'm looking at more so a Sonya and a Maddie Scott, even though Maddie kind of leans a little more 4 in my opinion, but I'm looking at them more so than a Pow. You know what I'm saying? A more traditional guard who leans 1-2, because I think you might be a little set over there. You got Lexi Brown coming back as well. So you got Lexi Brown coming back at the 2. And then, you have Ari.
You said McDonald.
Yeah, Ari at the 1. Zaya Cook at the 1. You know what I'm saying? So you already have those 2 at the 1. You have Lexi Brown already at the 2, and then KP now at the 2. And then now you have Ray Burrell on the wing. Everything else is kind of open for them, I feel like, on the wing at the 3.
And then KP, she can do 1 and 2.
For sure.
So do you go? Because I look at Madison Scott's game. She has a pro style game.
Mm-hmm.
Sonia Citron, she's a shooter and she can defend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we talk enough about that. The fact that she can guard bigger guards, as well as create her own shot. Or do they just say we want a big, because we said this is like a post players draft?
Mm-hmm.
At 9, you could easily get a Sedona Prince. You could get, I don't know if the Dominique from France, she probably won't be available at 9. She'll probably go earlier.
She could slip. I know some mocks have her at 8.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But the mocks, it's a shot in the dark, especially this early. I feel like WNBA, you really don't know until after the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, this draft may surprise us, because if all the people who may or may not declare, that opens up the window for other players that I mentioned who would probably fall to the 2nd and 3rd round. Somebody may say, oh, we can use them.
Yeah.
And those players may blossom once they, get some workouts in the league and get around other players and just get better. So
I think go ahead, Britt.
No, I was just gonna say we'll see, but I wouldn't be mad at them if, although they don't need a post, so like we talked about, they can get a 3, or if you just don't want to pass up 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
That insurance, you know what I'm saying? Because Brink did go down, injuries do happen. There it is.
If I'm Latson, I'm probably going, because it's oh man, I'm tripping, I'm tweaking. Both of us are. Hermione Turner, old girl from Harvard. I forgot all about her. Man, hey, Latson can stay. I mean, but if I'm Latson, like I was about to say, if I'm Latson, I'm going because it's like you're not even getting like people not even talking about you for real. Like people only talking about Latson deep into the hip, you know what I'm saying? I was about to say hip hop. Deep into the hoop discussions, they're talking about Latson because she's been consistently one of the nation's top scorers. The reason why no one's talking because you have Florida State, y'all losing 4, 5, 6, 7 games a year. At that point, I'm looking like if I'm old enough to declare for the draft right now, why not do it? You're not competing for a championship. You're not getting attention. You're not even getting probably the most you can get from NIL because no one's talking about you. And you putting up 40 points, doing the double pump, up and under, all in the air. She doing Michael Jordan moves in the air to win the game. In Chapel Hill. And not enough people are talking about that. If that was Paige Baker's, it would be all we see for the rest of the day. If that was Fly J, that all be seen for the rest of the day. So it's like, if I'm her, I'm declaring when I can.
I get your point, and I think media outlets are trying to do a better job. I've seen Bleacher Report, ESPN talk about Taniyah Latson more. I think especially dropping the ball last year with some players who didn't get as much coverage as others. They're trying to do a better job now. So I've seen mentions of Turner, Latson, who else? There's some other players, like players from Vandy, Michaela Williams, a nice freshman, and you have Pierre at Vandy. So players we wouldn't hear about otherwise. So they've been trying to do a little bit better in that area.
Homegirl from Georgia Tech.
Oh, which one, Morgan or the other Carnegie, the freshman?
The freshman.
Okay, both of them. They have a nice backcourt, which we could talk about Georgia Tech, man, since they started off good and they've just disappointed me in ACC play. They've lost games I felt like they shouldn't have. Like they got upset by, well, it wasn't an upset really, but I expected them to beat Duke today. They lost to Virginia Tech. They dropped like 3 games in a row.
It was funny. It was kind of like as soon as people started talking about them and they was like ranked around like 15 and they were moving up and they were like, they got this girl, they got it. And I was listening to y'all pod too, the one that you had with Coach. And then y'all was talking about them and who they had on their staff. And I'm like, oh, that's why they're doing so well. It seemed right after that, they started losing.
It's like, look, we're trying to do our jobs and
the lights are too bright. Lights too bright. Some folks just play well without the attention.
They do better without any attention. So, but yeah, I don't know. I wonder what year is Morgan for Georgia Tech.
I'm about to look it up.
She could be a guard that could be a nice addition for a W team.
Looking it up right now. Okay. Morgan is a junior.
Okay. See, and now I know you have to be 22 the year the draft is happening. So you have to, so even if your birthday comes in December of 2025, as long as you're turning 22 or graduating, if you're graduating before the draft or a few months after the draft. So a lot of players are eligible because a lot of them do graduate within 3 years. So she may be eligible. So it may be some names in there. We're like, oh, I didn't even know she was eligible. So
yeah, like we said, Cheyenne Sellers wasn't even on the mock drafts, and I didn't realize she was a senior until I looked it up. So like a player like a Cheyenne Sellers, and of course Haley Van Lith has worked her way back. We both kind of agree that she's worked her way back into the mocks. So Donna Prince, you could hate her because of her past allegations and her being 27 years old, but she's still one of the best bigs in the country.
To turn 25, don't be putting years on. You silly. I told you, you're gonna see that a lot more. It's even on the side. It's a lot that's 25, 26.
But so Donna Prince, she was playing with Anescu and them jokers. She was playing with
okay, yeah, Sabrina and everybody. But then she took a year off. So now athletes are able to take a gap year, which I wish that was available when I was playing. I'm like, a gap year?
That's probably because, she was dealing with them legal troubles.
But I think it was another player. Was it the Shields' little sister that plays at Mississippi?
Oh, the Shields, she took a gap year?
Her little sister, not Diamond, the Shields.
Yeah, well, Diamond had a whole...
But she had the medical situation.
Oh yeah. Well, but that was in college. She had that in college.
No, that was when she was in the pro.
Yeah, in the W. But in college, she had a whole thing where she was like, kind of got into. We not even gonna go there tonight. But she bounced from a couple programs and then ended up finishing out overseas until she was old enough to declare for the draft. And but yeah. But anyways, is there anything else that we would like to discuss or bring up before we get out of here tonight?
No, so since this happened, we may see some more breaking news happen this week. So
Where can the people subscribe? Where can the people follow everything like that? Sports Minded.
Sports Minded Show on YouTube, also available on Spotify and Apple iTunes, wherever you get podcasts. But if you like the video component of it, Sports Minded Show on YouTube.
Britt, one more time, just give them a little bit about your background as a hooper, so they know the credentials. Like Shaq says, you're G certified, whatever Shaq says.
He's so silly. So I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I went to Midfield High School where I won 4 state championships, went on to play at Mississippi State University, graduated in 3 years, and did grad school at the University of Alabama. And that's where I work now. I am the program director and content manager at Alabama Public Radio. We're licensed to UA. And now I'm the host of Sports Minded Show. So y'all be sure to check that out.
Certified G4 qualifications, man. We only bring the best of the best on the channel. Britt, we appreciate the time so much for stopping by. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, show some love to Sports Minded Show, and put in the comments. Rashad sent me. All right, until next time, man. As always, I'm Rashad Milligan. This is the Road to 5K Subs. Britt, thanks for showing up again. Please take care of yourselves. Have a great week, all that good stuff. And we're out.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Good question.
We can't ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.